Welcome back to another episode on Bass Fishing Declassified. Thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite ways to catch bass, which is flipping. Each one of our anglers today from the team is going to talk about a flipping tip that not only a beginning angler can know about, but also an experienced angler. So hey, stay with us as each one shares a different tip. I love to catch fish flipping, man. I just enjoy it. It's probably one of my favorite ways to catch them. Hey, now let's get into it.
My favorite way to fish is with a big flipping stick in my hand, just like this FP 936, the MHX blank. It's a 7.9 heavy action flipping stick. This thing is made to pull the fish out of heavy cover. I've got here some heavy braid on this Revo SX by Abu Garcia. And the reality is, as awesome as this setup is for flipping and pitching, it also can lead to some issues for a lot of new beginners. And what I mean by that is, so often, just because somebody says they're gonna go flipping, the assumption is that you have to have a heavy duty rod, heavy line, good strong reel. And the reality is that can be a mistake in a lot of instances, because when an angler goes to choose the bait that they wanna flip around, oftentimes that bait is not the right bait for a traditional flipping stick like this. What you want to do is downsize in your rod selection. And oftentimes I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of new beginners often don't understand, is that the bait really needs to match the rod. So for me, I actually probably use about 5 different flipping sticks, and it really comes down to the baits that I'm throwing. You know, one thing that I love to flip around is this little tightrope finesse jig. This thing is really light though. The whole bait itself probably weighs about 1/4 ounce. If I put that on this FP 936, I'm not gonna have the control that I need to present this bait properly. So with a small bait like this, I'll actually downsize just to a 7.3 medium heavy rod with a soft tip. It's something that gives me the control, allows me to flip it around. I'll use this on 10 and 12 pound fluorocarbon lines. So you're talking about light line. It's an easy, smooth bait to just flip out there. If I'm gonna be using a traditional flipping stick, what a lot of people would consider a big, heavy, beefy rod, I'm probably gonna be throwing a 3/4 ounce bait or heavier, and I'm gonna be fishing extremely thick cover, whether that's punching milfoil, punching hyacinth, throwing into thick laydowns. I need that rod for certain instances. But if I'm gonna be going around flipping some open cover, maybe throwing a soft stick bait under docks or skipping it around, I'm gonna have more control over that bait with a more traditional multi-purpose rod like a 7.3 medium heavy fast action rod. That will give me the control to pitch around a small bait, present it in the manner that I need to, and put it where I want it to be. Because we all know when you're using a flipping stick, one of the keys to it is being able to put your bait exactly where the fish are. And if you can't do it because you haven't matched the bait up with the appropriate rod, you're probably going to be in a little bit of trouble, to the point where you might really start suffering some negative consequences and not catching many fish. So you got to make sure that the bait that you want to flip matches your rod appropriately. In some instances, you might be talking about downsizing to a medium action or even lighter rod or a much shorter rod. You know, a lot of times if you've got a lot of trees overhanging, you're going to be better off with a 6.6 rod than you will a 7.9 rod, because a 7.9 rod's hitting every branch around. So you got to make sure you take all of the conditions that you're in, the bait choice, where you're fishing, the type of water you're fishing, and match it up with the appropriate rod. A flipping stick is not necessarily just a big, beefy, heavy-duty rod. A lot of times it can be a much smaller, even all the way down to it like ultralight kind of BFS type system. But don't let people tell you just because you're flipping you got to throw a heavy-duty rod. A lot of times that's a mistake, and it's actually costing you a few bites.
Hey guys, what's up? As I mentioned earlier, I love to catch fish flipping. Before I get into that, before my segment though, I'm just going to share with you guys, I've started a new YouTube channel for me. It is the Fishing Coach. It's going to be my YouTube channel. On it's going to be a variety of videos, from just talking videos to videos that you see on the Fish the Moment, Bass Fishing Declassified instructional videos, fishing day videos. I'm still going to be on the channel though. I'm still on the channel. You're going to see my solo videos on the channel. But hey, if you're interested, go check out my my new YouTube channel, subscribe, man. Watch my first couple videos, and man, it's gonna be, I'm excited about it. Also, to help support our anglers on the Bass Fishing Declassified team with Fish the Moment, check out fishthemoment.com for the one-on-one virtual lessons. I know it's falls here, about to be getting in the winter. A lot of people, use the virtual lessons for many reasons. It can be for, hey, picking this lake, help me out for a tournament, or it could be to learn new techniques, man. I've enjoyed my one-on-one lessons that I've done, and I know the other anglers have as well. So guys, now let's get into my flipping tips. Okay guys, I'm going to talk about kind of areas, targets, what to look at. Okay, let's say for example you're fishing a river. It could be a lake, but let's say you're fishing a river, and there's just a lot of pieces of cover to fish. You have grass, wood, cypress trees, and there's so much to flip, and you're just trying to think on where to start. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm also then going to relate it to kind of this fall time of year, what to look for as well. So, but first, let's just talk about just the general. You have a big area, big area to fish, and you're like, where do I start? One thing to look at, it could be from a map or just there with your eyes when you're there, is trying to find the targets you are flipping that is going to be related to current. Okay, so typically guys, fish will use pieces of cover that's around current. Okay, so now when they're not going to use them pieces of cover is when it's during the spawn. Okay, so the fish don't like really current in the spawn. Okay, now down here in the south, I don't know about you guys up there in the northeast, in some of y'all's areas where there's tide and stuff. Okay, I'm not talking about tidal waters, but if you're fishing like a river, lowland reservoir even, and you're on the section of the lake where there's a lot of current, okay, guys, look for them targets around it, except in the spawn they want to get out of the current. Okay, so it could be grass, it could be a piece of grass, guys, that and there could be some depth there too, but look for grass, wood, cover that's around the current. Okay, and that's just kind of a little shortcut to where to start. Now then, this time of year in the fall, okay, right now, like we're kind of getting in the fall, and I just want to share this with you because I caught some fish last year flipping during this time of year. During the fall, guys, we know fish are everywhere. They're spread out, okay, in the back of your creeks, okay, and then you can say main lake too. Let's just talk about back of creeks. Look for targets, okay, that could be related to deep water, or such as your creek channel in these flats, or they could be out there in the middle, okay, but look for your wood. It could be grass if it's a grass lake, stumps that are related to the creek channel, and then that's going to be some areas, some targets that you can go flip. Okay, a great thing to do is go out and flip them, and I always kind of depend on your weather conditions. So just with right now in the fall, look for your objects, and it can be objects by themselves. You can be in the back of a cove or a creek, and if there's one lay down, there's a good chance there's a bass at it. Okay, guys, I know a couple of lures, man. I love to flip. You can flip jigs. Okay, I know Matt just talked about a jig. That's a great jig. I'm about to go check it out. Okay, myself. I know, and I've talked about the BFE. I've talked about a couple baits, but this time of year, guys, and I almost do it every time of year. It's the big bite baits, fighting frog. I have one right here in the tilapia. I think they call it tilapia magic. Yep, it's called like multiple colors and different deals, outlaw. I call it the outlaw special, but it's the tilapia magic fighting frog. This is the 4-inch size, man. I love the big bite baits fighting frog. I like the BFE when I'm more around grass and punching and grass scenarios, a tube style bait. But man, if I'm gonna be fishing, lakes, lowland reservoirs that has the wood, man, I'm fighting frog is one of my options. Okay, guys, for my rod, you hear me, if you watched enough of me, I talk about the Denali attacks, the Denali covert lights. My only lithium pro I have is the flipping rod. And guys, this is a great 7.6 extra heavy rod. They do have some ones in the attacks that's similar, that if you're more on that budget, you can go look at those as well. Now, guys, I'm excited about these this upcoming month. Okay, I have a high school tournament coming up. That flipping is gonna be a deal. So hopefully I go out and practice and get some content for you guys. I'm gonna be trying to look into getting some shallow water out there, throwing that spoon and some other stuff, but it's about to get to where fall's here, fish are everywhere, and we're about to go catch some fish shallow. Now, hey guys, let's go see what Kyle has to talk about for a flipping tip to help you put more fish in the boat.
Guys, Kyle Cordiana here with Bass Fishing Declassified. Listen, we love to give opportunities to you guys. We love to do giveaways. This giveaway this month is really special to me. This is the Caliber Coffee Company. This is a coffee company that's owned and run by veterans, founded by the Army. This is a company that stands for our Second Amendment. They produce the highest quality of coffee to your cup. They didn't cut any corners. They They source their farms from all over the world. They roast their beans locally so that you can get the freshest batch possible. But they want to give away some coffee to you just for watching Bass Fishing Declassified. All you got to do is make a comment in this video below, tell us something you like about the video, and you're automatically entered to win some free coffee. Now they've got ground coffee. They got this awesome packaging. You got 9mm, 300 blackout, 22 caliber, 44 caliber based on strength. They got K-cups. They even got whole bean for you guys. If you just want to go there and support them, listen, they give back to those who serve to protect our freedoms. They're constantly giving back to military camo, law enforcement blue, no matter what color jersey or what color uniform you wear. If you're a first responder, they want to give back to you. They're actively searching for nonprofits who focus on PTSD, homelessness, addiction, all those other veteran related afflictions that come from serving. They want to give back. Also, you can go on there and nominate a caliber hero every month based on what you guys tell them. They're going to pick a caliber hero, someone who you think deserves it, and they're going to give them a month free of coffee. So just an awesome company. If you just want to go over there and support them, they've given us a coupon code to provide to you. It's Fish Coffee, FISHCOFFEE, Fish Coffee. And that's how they know that you guys are going through us. But again, make a comment below. We'll sign up. We'll get in touch with you, get your information, and we'll figure out whether you want whole bean, ground bean, K-cups, and we'll send stuff right to your door. Hey guys, Kyle Cordiana here at Bass Fishing Declassified. Today's video is about flipping tips. I'm from Oklahoma, so I love doing a lot of flipping on the Arkansas River, but I'll flip just about anywhere. In fact, one of our recent events this year on the Lake of the Ozarks, I was flipping like crazy, catching a lot of fish, flipping my Gene Maru Who Daddy around here. Love that 3/0 Trocar Pro V bend flipping hook. That's a great combo right there. It's a great hook, great design. But back to my flipping tip, right? So first of all, the most important part about flipping is your rod selection and your reel selection. So for me, when I'm flipping, typically it's heavier stuff. So this is a 7'2" Kistler Chromium. This is a 7'2" heavy, medium, heavy. That's kind of like a 5-power. It's not a true heavy, it's not a true medium heavy, but it's got a lot of backbone. If you get too stiff on your flipping rod, you're gonna have a little more overrun in your reel, too limber, not enough hook set power. So I like this option for flipping. 17 to 20 pound Seagarden Vizex fluorocarbon, 7.3-1 Kistler Chromium reel. So here's the flipping tip. Everybody knows about the spool tension knob, right? This little knob right here on your reel is a spool tension knob. It increases or decreases how easy it is for this spool to move, period. When you're reeling it in, it can create friction, or when you're pushing the button, it creates friction. So, one of the biggest things about flipping is if you flip nonstop, you're gonna deal with a lot of overrun. You sit there and flip and reel in and flip and reel in and flip and reel in. Next thing you know, you've got this overrun in your reel and you gotta turn around and cast it way out in the middle and reel it back in and try again. That's gonna happen. But to help minimize that, it's right there with that spool tension. So tighten your spool tension up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the bait up here so you can see it. I'm gonna push the button. See how the bait isn't falling? I've got that spool tension really tight. The button's pushed right now. Now, as I loosen the spool tension, it's windy out here, but as I loosen the spool tension, you're gonna see the bait start to fall. There it goes. So, you're gonna play with your spool tension while you're flipping. Now, if I push the button, it drops. If I tighten it back up, if I push the button, nothing happens. So, based on the weight of your bait, the weight of your tungsten, you're gonna play with that spool tension throughout the day, and it's gonna help eliminate that overrun. Get it as tight as you can, but still be able to make accurate flips, and that's gonna help eliminate that overrun. So that's my flipping tip for you guys here at Bass Fishing Declassified. Hope it helps you next time you go flipping.